Could a decision on the renewal of the Clean Harbors Colfax permit be expected soon? Governor John Bel Edwards says residents waiting on LDEQ's recommendation on what to do might not have to wait too much longer. The public comment period ended in December on Clean Harbors Colfax's permit renewal through the Louisiana Department of Environmental Quality. The facility is the only one in the country to continue legally open burning and open detonating hazardous waste. Residents have raised concern over the facility's practices for years, most recently at public hearings on their permit renewal, including one with the EPA. All comments were in opposition. During the Louisiana Radio Network's Ask the Governor segment yesterday, Edwards answered questions from Brian Salvatore, a chemistry professor from LSU Shreveport, who has been following the impacts of Clean Harbors Colfax on the community. Salvatore questioned Edwards' leadership and why he has not pushed for action from LDEQ Secretary Chuck Carr-Brown. Edwards explained the department is still reviewing public comments and that Secretary Brown is, quote, making sure that all of the standards that are enforceable are in fact enforced.